All right, so I'll just do a normal intro and then we'll dive right into it, I guess. What are you doing? Stop.
Yeah.
We said normal intro.
Oh,
We just said no
gotta
stupid stuff
stop.
this week.
can you hand that to me?
Hand what to
The
you?
thing I just threw
I'm
at
not
you.
handing you a fuzzy thing. You just threw it at me. I said we were going to do
Guys.
do not throw prime bombs.
Oh,
We're not doing this right now.
Zach, hit the intro. Come on.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. We're going to be doing the Elimination Chamber post-show results. We have myself, Randy. We have Zach. We have Eddie. Go ahead and put the water
Yeah.
bottle down for me, bud. Let's just get that out of the way before we. Okay. All right. So let's run down the card real quick. What was the first match? The first match was the Women's Elimination Chamber
Yes,
match,
it was.
correct?
Yes.
So what did we think about that going in?
Nikki Cross should.
You're not coming through on your mic.
Nikki Cross should have been pushed more heavily
And won the match?
and won the match.
No, absolutely not. I think she had the perfect amount of spots and did exactly what she
Right.
should.
Now, do you want my real opinion?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm glad Asuka won. Asuka makes me happy, and I'm glad she's going to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, we thought it was either Raquel or Asuka, and they made it clear by Raquel being eliminated middle of the match. So
Yeah. And I think she was very well highlighted as like she's the muscular woman of this generation, you know, kind of deal. Kind of that Beth Phoenix China spot a little bit.
talking about this with Eddie earlier, but we were saying how Raquel, for how much she actually towers over the women in the division, they don't talk about it as much. They talk about her as a powerhouse, but she's not considered a giant.
I think that's because she doesn't actually tower over anyone. I mean, she's taller than like your Liv Morgan, your Asuka, but you also still have people that are like meeting her at eye level.
Not really. I mean, she probably is Rhea Ripley is the only other
Rhea
person,
Ripley
but when
is
have they
there.
fought?
Nia Jax is there.
Nia Jax isn't there.
Not there, Randy. You got your moment at Rumble. Yes, thank you.
Nia
Thank
Jax.
You better hope I don't finish this one, okay?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'll finish this can.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
We're not throwing stuff. We're
Do I
adults.
have a chair?
Shut up.
So, but going into Mania,
Yeah. So at WrestleMania we have Asuka versus Bianca Belair, right?
and I mean,
For the
I
Raw
don't
Women's
think
title?
I don't think it makes sense to for Bianca to win, but do we see that happening, or do we think Asuka dethrones?
When did Bianca win this belt?
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mania
okay,
last
so this will
year.
be so she'll hit roughly 1 year as the title holder.
Yeah.
Is that going to be because I don't know, I don't remember. Is that once it hits a year roughly going to be like the longest women's champion reign other than like what Fabulous Moolah did back in the day? Like modern times?
Well, because if she wins, though, who on the roster does she have left to face?
I mean, I could also see
It's
her like keep moving forward, and then hopefully they push people who just haven't gotten that spotlight. I do think Asuka is the most realistic person to beat Bianca for it, but like I could see her making something bigger out of it, and maybe even going until next WrestleMania.
I think Asuka deserves this WrestleMania win because I thought she should have gotten it against Charlotte when she came up from NXT and went after Rumble.
Yeah, and I mean, Bliss is still in the shadows from their match, so I mean, there could still be some shenanigans there. So you mean with Asuka's new character and what Bliss is possibly turning into, that could be a cool dynamic as well.
I just like kind of going into it. How it's going to be with Alexa Bliss, or like how that or what that could really turn into. But I think Asuka now, I would have liked to see Asuka beat Charlotte with the gimmick she has now. I don't think I think she was
Kana gimmick?
yeah, I think not happy go lucky Asuka, but like an Asuka that was not nearly as intimidating as the Kana Asuka we have now.
Right.
I feel like I was kind of bummed at the time when it happened, but like I guess it made sense for Charlotte and what they were trying to do for her. But I think now it's to the point where it's like, okay, she is as overpowered as she can possibly be. Like I don't think they could do anything bigger or better with her than give her this gimmick to like overpower her. So I think it's either she wins and hopefully goes on a big run and goes on another Asuka-esque run, or Bianca's gonna win it, and that's just gonna solidify her as like one of the biggest names in women's wrestling, period.
Yeah, I think I think they've already done the whole Bianca needs to learn from losing a title angle, like with what she did at SummerSlam with Becky's return.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think they need to run something like that back again, but I could see them doing it. Like,
It's
you
gonna
know,
be a
like,
good build up.
for sure. I think, especially because they're both face, right? Like Asuka's a face right
Yeah,
now.
I mean she's not. She's a
So
tweener.
this
I
will be a
guess.
good just whoever wins, and we'll be happy either way. They'll probably shake hands after. Maybe one of them will turn heel
Unless
kind of deal.
she goes full Kana mode and she now turns crazy because she has a
Something
motive.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, either way, I'll be excited to see that match.
yep.
So,
Was she not crazy before? I just want to like kind of. I don't think she's really a face, and I kind of want to dive into that a little bit more because I think everything we're seeing makes her a heel. I mean, like she went against her heel tag team the other night as a heel and beat
That's
them up.
why I don't think. I don't think she's playing any side. I think
I know.
she's just.
I think the
Asuka.
best thing, I think she's a tweener.
Yeah.
But I guess the reason why I think she leans more towards face is because the fans are kind of behind her still. Like they're not booing her at all.
That's it's-
which is the difference between being a face and being over, right?
yeah.
Right.
But I still don't think she's a heel per se. I think right now she could be in that tweener status.
Yeah. I mean, she was versing faces and then hurt her heel team, so it's not like she was a face that hurt her face partners.
Right.
So
So that's a good point. After that, we got the what? After that was the Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley match, right?
Oh yeah. That
yeah.
went the way everyone wanted it to. Their disqualification. That was
Well,
great.
I already wondered where it was going because I just thought they were just gonna make it a Mania match in the first place
Well, now they probably will.
with Bray Wyatt.
Well, so you got to figure now we've seen Lashley win, and we've seen
Brock
we
win.
saw Brock win, but Lashley standing. Now we've seen Lashley win with Brock standing. So now this kind of is another rubber match type deal. It's like who's gonna come out?
Yeah.
And I hope the end result is one of them wins, and then they decide to shake hands and form a tag team.
No.
And then go after the tag team
boo.
titles. You wouldn't watch Brock Lesnar and
No, I
Bobby Lashley
wouldn't.
as tag team champions?
I wouldn't.
Why?
Well, I mean, I would.
yeah.
But I wouldn't like it.
Does this culminate the Hurt Business return?
Oh, definitely. There is going to be Hurt Business shenanigans either leading up to or at WrestleMania.
But if they have Bray Wyatt in the situation, who do you think would win it? Like, honestly.
That's a good point. Bray Wyatt just came out and was like, whoever wins, I'm next, like dibs.
And
And
he
it's like,
played the I'm in control of myself thing now. So
yeah.
is this gonna be like where we get a super demonic version, like, or that version that we got at Extreme Rules, or not Extreme
Something.
Rules?
There's no way Bray
whatever
would
it was.
lose, I think, is the
Rumble.
best way to put it.
Well, I mean, what do they do? A triple threat? Like, because the problem is they set up the next feud for one of these guys without concluding this feud properly.
Yeah, it
So
was a
what's gonna happen?
weird call out.
Yeah.
It was weird in general because he came out against Hit Row
yeah.
and then was like, "Yeah, Bobby or Brock, whoever wins, you better run."
What if what if that's his thing? He just calls out random people and never actually has a match. Like next week, he's gonna come out and be like, Roman and Cody, whoever wins, I'm next in line.
Give me a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match with Brock Lesnar.
Bray
But
Wyatt's eternally sponsored by Mountain Dew.
when the lights turn on, you see this like big beast logo all over freaking over.
Oh, that would
Brock.
be cool if they like took his back tattoo and like put UV paint or whatever on
something
it.
like that. Because I don't know if you realize in the first Pitch Black match, but Bray's body paint when he was upside down, it made an animal.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
So is he eternally sponsored by Mountain Dew now? Is that in his contract that every match he has to have it's sponsored by Mountain Dew?
No, I'm
No.
fantasy booking.
Maybe
it.
they'll
But I
pick
want
a
that to
new.
happen.
Maybe they'll pick a new drink every time. Like next time, it'll be the Glacier Freeze Gatorade Bonanza
Mountain Dew Live
or
Wire.
something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mountain Dew Code Red First Blood match?
yeah, something like that.
Oh,
like,
that's genius.
But yeah. So I mean, I don't know what the hell's gonna
We have
happen
to.
with.
This is one of the ones we're gonna have to wait and see because we literally with what happened Friday, what this match is, we now know that it's probably gonna be Bobby and Brock again. But where does Bray come into it with it all? Because no one
Yeah.
came out a clear winner other than Brock was, or Bobby was the actual winner of the
Yeah.
match. So does Brock
We'll
just go
see.
off?
Until Mania.
It's like, no,
we'll
I'm
see.
done.
So he's got 6 weeks to. They have 6 weeks to make it make sense. Triple H is in charge of creative, so I think he's earned my trust a little bit here. I'm gonna trust the process, see how this shakes out. We'll see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to. I feel like the way that it could play out, you could have Bobby and Brock fight at Raw, but like Brock fighting at Raw is, I guess, unheard of. Which, yeah, understandable. You're worth
In a
loads of money.
non-premium live event.
Right, and just seeing, I couldn't see it happen, but like, you wouldn't just tease something like that. And then, yes, Bobby technically did win. Sure, you can like try to throw that in there, but
What we're referencing is that Brock Lesnar, while he was in the Hurt Lock, got a low blow in front of the ref and just got himself deep. If you didn't see the paper, that's what happened.
which means Bobby Lashley is technically the winner, which means Bray Wyatt should therefore, by his word, be targeting Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. So see what happens.
Yeah.
There's not really too much fallout from it. I think we need more information before we can.
This is the one feud. Yeah, it's gonna have to. Yeah.
So, after that, I think we got a conclusion to a storyline. I don't know. Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley versus Edge and Beth Phoenix.
I hope so.
I mean, do we think that's over?
No,
Do you think we're gonna get the Edge and Finn Balor Mania type
yes,
deal?
fortunately.
You say that.
I'm saying it in terms
I get it though. I understand why you're saying it.
like it's been a year. It feels like it's
Yeah.
been a year. It's been a year since the Judgment Day's
like-
been around.
At any time before now, if there was like fantasy booking, like while Edge was retired, someone somewhere on this planet was like, yeah, fantasy book, I'd love to see Finn Balor versus Edge.
Yeah.
And before the Judgment Day and this weird storyline, like, I would agree that would be an awesome match. And for some reason now, I just don't care.
Like,
yeah.
what's AJ Styles even doing? Is he injured?
Yeah,
He
he's
got injured at a live event
Oh.
house
I don't
show
know how
thing.
bad the injury is anymore, but I have a feeling if it was a thing he was supposed to come back, there's probably just no point right now.
Yeah,
He would
So
be
we'll
he'd be the big post Mania pop come back.
probably. Yeah, he'll be the Raw after Mania type.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reason why prefaced it as a conclusion is because Beth and Edge actually won the match, even though there were shenanigans going on and Dom interfered a little bit. But ultimately, Edge and Beth came out on top, so they got.
Do you think it'll be
revenge.
Finn and Edge, or do you think it'll be Dom and Edge?
I think it'll
Well,
be Finn
well,
and
no.
Edge.
Because they're still talking about Dom and Ray.
Yeah, that too.
So-
that can still happen.
Need to-
Yeah.
They haven't played it off other than like the backstage stuff, so that's where I kind of get
Well,
confused.
that's because Karrion Cross keeps talking at Rey Mysterio without doing
He said he
anything.
doesn't want kids anymore.
Whatever, dude. I'm just tired of Karrion Cross talking to Rey Mysterio and never
'Cause I
having
thought
this
it was
match.
done, but now they're fighting this coming up week. So
Oh, they're finally having
Oh,
like a
thank-
one-on-one deal.
another one,
Karrion and Ray.
another
Carrion
one.
needs to absolutely wash him. Is I just
Yeah,
want
and then
Carrion
feed
to
him
do
to
this
Dom.
something.
time, Karrion needs to win, and it needs to be okay. We're done.
Yeah, and then we can set up the Dom versus
Yes.
Ray. So
But
that's a natural fallout for that. But as far as I mean, the thing is, this Beth and Edge versus Finn and Rhea match was a good match. I enjoyed it.
oh yeah,
And I think that's the problem, is that the storyline is not amazing. Like, I get it, right? They attacked Beth and knocked her out, and then they returned at the story makes sense.
it's happened.
It's the people that are in it that I want to see wrestling in other contexts,
Right.
not in this story. You know what I mean? I just don't care about this story. How do you guys?
Tommy just needs to get on with it. Like, honestly.
Yeah, Mommy and Dami need to get moving.
Yeah, Mommy and
forward.
Dami are kind of done with this storyline. We need to see them both doing something else. Rhea could have done a whole lot. Luckily, she's building up for Mania. I'm just hoping we get to see a lot of her overpowering people until then, not, I guess, Charlotte coming out and just nature girl BS and like not trying to make that sound bad, but like I want to see Rhea overpower Charlotte and win the world title.
She needs to at this point because like they haven't been booking Rhea poorly at all. Like even in this match, she looked really good and really strong. And we need to start seeing those two interact more because literally,
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, do you think it's smarter that they don't meet each other until Mania, or do you feel like it's better off that they do have altercations between now and then?
I don't think immediately. It doesn't have to be immediately. I think closer down the line.
well, what I was gonna say was it makes sense that they didn't do it between Rumble and now because they were resolving this storyline that we're talking about for this match. It needs to start this
Now,
Friday.
yeah.
This Friday upcoming, they need to start the whole Rhea. All right, Charlotte. It didn't go my way, but we're done with Beth Phoenix and Edge. I'm ready to move on to you, and then we spend 6 weeks building that
Yeah.
match. Like
It's that easy though for them and what they want for Edge. I think Finn's like he's going to be dragged into it. I think it's going to be Finn and Edge. That's how it's going to end.
yeah, but
That'll
when
be
you
on
take
Raw.
out that Beth Phoenix aspect, there's no reason for Rhea to really be there.
I agree.
They got their revenge technically. That's where
Yeah.
unless there was a reason to keep it going,
Yeah,
that's where I don't see the Finn and Edge match happening, but it also could just be a way to get them a match.
that match may not happen.
Yeah.
We're just
Right.
speculating that it will right now. But
Mhm.
I think right now is the pivotal time to have Rhea shift towards her Charlotte feud.
Yeah.
Because she won the Rumble, came out and was like, Charlotte, I'm gonna challenge you. This means so much to me because of this match, blah blah blah, and then just hasn't really talked about it since.
Right.
Yep.
You know, so
I also feel like, well, just kind of for Dom in this situation, like kind of where he's going. It's either he's going to fight Rey Mysterio or he's going to be in a triple threat match against Asuka and Bianca Belair for the Raw
For the
Women's
Raw.
title.
Look, it's one thing if he wins a women's tag belt. I get it. But he doesn't need to be the Raw Women's
I think
champ.
he does to solidify his legacy. I mean, this is the perfect. Well, I mean, honestly, mommy needs the belts.
Yeah.
Mommy wants the belts. She'll do anything to get the belts. Dom, women's division, gets the belt and like beats Dom in a squash or something like that.
And then just finger poke of doom,
Yeah.
gets both belts and unifies them that way.
Exactly. Dommy
And then
do what
he just
mommy
lays
wants.
down for her. He's like, here you go.
Yeah. We're moving on.
Yes.
After that was the men's elimination chamber match.
Yes, sir.
It was a really good chamber match. I was very satisfied with most or all of the spots that happened here.
Yeah.
Just go check it out because at this point, the biggest story coming out of the chamber, I'm just gonna fast forward to it. And if there's any spots you want to talk about, we can go back to it. But it starts with the Montez Ford injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then during them carrying out Montez Ford, we get Logan Paul. Because once Montez Ford is out, the last two are Seth Rollins and Austin Theory.
Yes.
And then we get Logan Paul coming out doing another amazing buckshot lariat.
And
Yeah.
a stomp where he was like frozen in air and frozen in time too. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
So I mean, it's pretty
That's
solidified at this
solidified.
point. Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins at Mania.
That's how I want it to be. I mean, they're both going to tear the house down together. Logan Paul is a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like having him against Seth Rollins being totally his biggest challenge, in my opinion. I'm saying it.
You're saying Seth Rollins is Logan Paul's biggest
I
challenge?
think it's the biggest way for him to show out. I mean, like with Roman, you're just
okay.
guaranteed that Roman's going to win. That's how I'm looking at it.
I guess that's true.
It's guaranteed that
like
Roman
there's
was going to win.
I guess that's true that there actually is a chance Logan will win this match.
And I think like Seth Rollins, you can get away with doing a lot more. Like Seth Rollins is probably willing to do a lot more to make Logan shine. It's not like
Yeah.
Roman didn't do that, but I just feel like, hey, Logan's an aerialist. Seth can be an aerialist and can be a technician, can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just a great way for Logan Paul to show out and show what Logan can do on every type of platform rather than just being like knockout type deal.
Right. I agree. I think that's going to be really
Well, because I think it all makes sense because we were talking about it when the spoof of the Joker came up, how Seth Rollins' character feels like it's a very much Joker-esque character. And now this can turn into like where Seth Rollins goes crazy because he's already been on the media run where he's talked about how he's not in the WrestleMania main event and he feels like it's being taken away from him. And then you got Logan Paul who keeps popping up and spoiling it for him again.
Well, and what's crazy is while he was going on that media scrum, in the same sentences he was talking about Logan Paul, he was also talking about CM Punk. So I'm very curious on how WWE is going to take those and like navigate those interviews on what they will and won't say, because it was literally like Seth Rollins would literally say, "Oh, CM Punk and Logan Paul are this," and then describe it.
Right.
So I'm really curious on how WWE is going to use those interviews and go around the CM Punk part if they choose.
I
to
feel
do
like
so.
we're going to be in a darker age of Seth Rollins though up until Mania. I don't think we're going to get the dancing like cocky Seth Rollins.
I think it's just too easy. And I think we could see just like Seth Rollins being himself and being cocky, being like, Logan Paul caught me like when I was in a match or like when I was distracted.
30 minutes into a chamber match,
Yeah. And I think Logan Paul's going to rush in. Like, probably he's going to have another big matchup, like maybe for the U.S. title, something like that. Logan Paul runs in on that, something of that nature. Cost him the match. And then I think it's going to be a good build-up for WrestleMania.
Do you think there's going to be a point between now and WrestleMania where Logan Paul has a match and Seth Rollins interferes?
No.
I think it's all going to be mind games of Logan Paul is behind Seth Rollins' back at all times.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other result of that interference is that Austin Theory retained his United States Championship.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for him at WrestleMania?
And that's where I came. We've talked about it previous weeks. I honestly, unless, one of the people that were in the chamber match decides to step up again, I honestly feel like what we're going towards is an open challenge at WrestleMania.
And who's going to accept that open challenge?
I mean, probably John Cena. I think we're kind of at that point where it's like, I can't see Austin Theory fighting anybody else. I can't see anybody who would step up to him at this point besides John Cena. I don't know if it's going to be like something where he has to wait till WrestleMania, but
that's what I was going to say. If your plan is not announce John Cena, have it be a surprise, what does Theory do for 6 weeks? Because he is a champion.
I think
and
we could
people
have
are gonna
multiple matches.
Yeah, but people are also going to want to be like, I want a chance at Theory at WrestleMania. Like, how is Theory going to get away with not having an already scheduled match for the night? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Unless he like comes out and says, I'm going to hold an open challenge at WrestleMania. Anyone can accept. Like he would have to do that early instead of night of, in my opinion, for it to make
but
sense.
If he just says he's going to have an open challenge at Mania, then someone's going to be like, well, why can't you just be first me?
Yeah, maybe not right away.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do 3 weeks of a mini feud with like Montez Ford or something. Like Montez Ford comes out. I had a really good showing. Give me a one-on-one chance. Theory skates his way through that match and then decides he's cocky enough to do an open challenge or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I can't see it being anything else, but I think he'll announce it before. And he's like, oh, I'm going to have an open challenge at WrestleMania. Like through the weeks, fight other people, whatever it may be, and then like keep hyping up the challenge. He may even call out John Cena for all we know.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Not bad crazy either, because like, yes, it's cool when John Cena's a surprise, but also like that would just get a pop.
Yeah.
If John Cena comes out and maybe shows up a week or two before Mania, and
because we've already seen the mannerisms. Like he's already done the "you can't see me" / like the champ's here.
Ruthless aggression.
Yeah, he's already been calling him out. He's in the WWE 2K23 commercial as the opponent of John Cena, like through that. So like, it just seems like it's already there. It's just the official announcement of it and how they're gonna do it is really the wonder at this point. Because if it wasn't John Cena, out of the roster or anybody, who do you think it would be?
Rock.
I couldn't see it being anyone else, if I'm honest. If I'm gonna be real, I think the best way to call him out is to do some like John Cena Undertaker stuff. Like when John Cena
that was in my head earlier too, where like the Undertaker didn't actually do any of the build up. It was all John Cena carrying it.
Yeah,
And then it's a will he or won't he show up type deal.
right.
Mhm.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And we get the Doctor, and then I'd be very happy.
Oh, that would mark out. I love the Doctor of Thugonomics. If it's not John Cena and it's not The Rock, it's probably Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my God.
Austin versus Austin. Best Austin wins. Right?
No,
Crickets.
Guys?
no, dude.
Whatever.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Try-
So, I mean,
Steve will show up for
I'll
a
go with
match.
your theory. If the backup of John Cena is Stone Cold.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone's on my side.
Think. Hold on, I'm brainstorming here. What if somehow get an all mommy title match one year?
Okay.
All mommy title match. I think this would be it.
We're moving on. So, the last match is the heartstrings of the night, the tugging at the heartstrings, the most emotional match. Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed World Heavy Universal adjective after adjective title.
Sammy should have won. I'm on it. I just think they did
You think
so
so?
much. That match, he kicked out of a spear. We didn't think he'd kick out of a spear. He did
He
it.
kicked out of multiple people's finishers.
Yeah. Well, he also did multiple people's finishers. It was you have to watch the match. Match was amazing. They legitimately stood in the ring after the bell rang for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And let the crowd just chant whatever it is that they were chanting, including explicatives. Like, it was crazy. And then the match itself was incredible. 2 refs get knocked out.
Yeah.
Outside interference.
Jay got speared so hard that he died, and we didn't see him the rest of the show.
That's the only confusing part, and it's not a bad thing. It's literally just if they were gonna build something after that, they could have started something there. Other than the fact that Sammy accidentally hit Jay.
We'll see how it shakes out on SmackDown.
It's gonna shake out, but it was a different way that other people probably weren't expecting. Because they were playing the whole part where Jay was now being asked by Roman to hit him with the chair, and they're about to do the whole Sammy thing again.
Yeah.
But then it just turned into Sammy spearing Jay on accident.
Yeah, Roman moved out of the way. So they did the whole thing of like the refs get knocked out. First Jimmy comes out and just helps and does the cover, but then Sammy still manages to kick out. Roman's gonna hit Sammy with a chair, and then Jay stands in the way. They did a very good parallel of what happened at the Rumble with Jay, but what happened to Sammy. Roman's doing it with Jay now.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, that's when Sammy hit the spear on Jay on accident, and then we get a finish.
Yeah. So of course the match finishes, and then
Roman
of course
wins.
Good old KO comes out.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, good pop.
Yep, good pop.
Good
Montreal
pop.
pop. He has his own shirt too, even though he has no build up to Montreal, but he got his own T-shirt.
Yeah, it only spoiled it for the people in the arena.
Yeah.
I think like what we have to see on SmackDown and like kind of is we need to see what Jade, because honestly, kind of the way like the vibe I got, we could see KO and Sammy team up, but I thought it'd be like more of like a hurrah type of vibe going into it.
I think so too.
And we didn't get that like whatsoever. It's like Kevin just saw him, looked at him, kind of got out of his way, left.
Which I kind of get. You have 6 weeks to fill. You need to slow burn something.
Right.
The Sammy and Kevin reunion can be slow burned a little bit over the next 6 weeks, and then you build up to that tag team title match.
I didn't expect Jay to just completely go into oblivion after falling out of the ring.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, these guys have both
They
talked
could have
about
at least had Kevin attack Jay.
Yeah.
As a part of Jimmy and Jay being attacked, to kind of start that, but it was just Jay getting attacked out of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad Jay just got attacked out of it. I think it's more room for growth in his character. I think we'll get to see more of like, hey, is he really going to be with the tribal chief? Like, what's he going to do?
True, that does make sense too as well.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy's like, well, why didn't my brother come back and help me?
Right. Jay, yeah. Well, not to mention, like, Roman moved out of the way and let that happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's truly what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy did feel bad and checked on Jay after he speared him.
But Roman's not going to let him think that it was his fault. Roman's going to be like, "Look, Sammy speared you. Like,
Yeah,
what's
because you
that?"
didn't hit him with a chair. Like he'll spin it that way for sure.
And Solo is nowhere to be found.
We'll see what happens with Solo. There was a really funny moment with Paul Heyman attacking Kevin Owens. That was great.
The walrus fell over
Yeah.
and couldn't get up.
He took a stunner. Paul
Very
Heyman sold a
graceful
stunner.
stunner too.
Yeah, he did pretty good. Better than Vince at last year's WrestleMania.
Yep.
Vince died when it happened. That's why.
Yeah. But either way, so I mean overall Elimination Chamber, great pay-per-view. There's some clear roads and there are still roads to WrestleMania that we
Something Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, so ultimately this does mean that we're going to get Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania. And I think the fans are going to be satisfied with how the story shakes out. I don't think we're going to see backlash on Cody. I think Cody's going to win the belts at Mania. He'll get his pop, his cheers.
I
and they'll
think
move
the
on.
thing that stopped Cody from being a target of heat is the promo that him and Sammy had.
I think that was a really good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave the idea that
Cody
the main
wanted
event
Sammy.
could be.
Yeah, but and they had a great match. So I mean, it's now come down. Hey, this happened. We're moving on to WrestleMania. We now know what we got, and this is what we're going to get. But I'm excited.
I am too. I think this is going to be a really good WrestleMania, even if the rest of the card is meh, which I don't think it will be.
No,
I
I don't think so.
I think Rhea and Charlotte's going to be great. I think Asuka and Belair is going to be great. However the tag team titles shake out, whatever Madcap Moss, whatever his name is, Riggs Boogs, whatever those guys are going to be doing is going to be mediocre. I'm sure they're going to do like an Andre Battle Royal or something.
Something I wanted to say that I realized with this show is that I think we're in a better place with this roster than we have been in quite some time.
Yeah, I know these guys' names now.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in terms of there wasn't anybody on this show tonight that I honestly didn't want to see.
Oh, yeah.
So it just felt good because it wasn't like they threw people in.
It shows good roster depth.
Right. And that's what I haven't felt that in such a long time. But now that Triple H has kind of riled up all of his troops, it's feeling that way again. And now it's like I can be happy watching a 3-hour Raw knowing that I'm not going to see something I don't want to see, and vice versa. But that's just honestly the happiness I feel right now for this.
As long as they don't give SmackDown a third.
I feel like their roster's too packed, if I'm going to be honest. Like, point blank, we see so many so many people who are so good at wrestling that aren't on the card. Like we didn't get to see Yim, we didn't get to see Piper and Evan. These are people that I like watching wrestle, and they are really talented. We didn't get to see Becky or Bayley in the Elimination Chamber either. And I know it's because of the feud that they're doing, but shoot, we're gonna put Nikki Cross, we're gonna put Natalya, we're gonna put these people who aren't really getting pushed or getting big card matches, or honestly just either losing a lot or not even on TV that much. When was the last time Nikki Cross was actually on TV? Yes.
The only reason I disagree with you is because both of the names that you listed lost qualifying matches for this match.
I know, to people that, in my opinion, weren't as deserving.
I think that's the point.
While that may be true about deserving or not deserving, that means that they are getting pushed, though, at least a little.
I think it's just the fact
they
that if
had
you
to win
all
it,
the top names. I mean, the Elimination Chamber, to me, kind of is stagnant in a way that you really don't think a lot's going to change between titles. So, one, we got a number one contender match, and one, we got the United States Championship match, which I didn't think.
Nikki Cross also didn't win a qualifying match. She was just added to the card.
Well, I mean, yes, not everyone won a qualifying match, but both of the people that you mentioned
I'm not saying
qualifying matches.
And I think there could have been better people for the chamber if we wanted a more exciting chamber. And again, that's my opinion.
Right. I would say
I understand where you're coming from.
I think there's always better people.
I'm not talking about the Raw. I'm not talking about the U.S. chamber either. I thought the people who were in the U.S. chamber, that was probably going to be the most exciting match that we saw.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, though, if you're going to choose a pay-per-view to not highlight the best people like Bayley or Becky Lynch or anything like that, do an in-between Big Four pay-per-view like the Chamber. I think the only reason this Chamber even felt as important and elevated as it did is because all of the buildup that went to the main event. But if you pick any other year Elimination Chamber pay-per-view over the last
It's a
5
hurdle.
years, yeah, I've never cared about it. But this one I cared about because of the main event. And I cared about the main event so
And the
much that I
chambers
was
were different. It was a
Well,
number one
yeah.
contender match, and it was a U.S. championship match.
Well, not only that, but because the main event was so important,
hmm
I was paying attention to the rest of the card. And because I was paying attention to the rest of the card, I actually cared for once. That hasn't happened in a very long time for the Elimination Chamber. So
Yeah, I
I
agree with
think-
both sides. I mean, there was
Yeah.
definitely other people who could have been in the match. And I think that this time of year kind of plays the devil's advocate on both ends because
right.
there are people that should be in better spots right now, but there's different stories going on.
Yeah.
And I think, once we get again past WrestleMania and we're in a reset mindset, I think that's where we're going to start seeing all these people get their motion.
I think so too. I think it's a good
I just like it's kind of the same thing with Money in the Bank, but not necessarily. I wish it was like highlighted as a bigger pay-per-view, like maybe not even before WrestleMania,
Yeah.
like kind of given its own spot, because I feel like the Elimination Chamber has like that much to it. It's that, or it's like so elevated as a pay-per-view and like as an event, and people are like, oh, the Elimination Chamber. And it used to be like that, to where it's like, this is where you go through. Like, this is the WWE title match. This is the number one contender. This is like who gets to go to WrestleMania type deal. And I guess I'm so used to like over the top wrestlers growing up, like having The Undertaker, Triple H, Big Show, Jeff Hardy, and Edge all in the same chamber. Like, those 5 names being in one match is like so crazy as is. And I guess I'm not used to, like, I was excited for mid-card chambers and like a number one contenders chamber, but like it's not the same elevated stars I'm used to seeing, I guess is the best way to
Right.
look at it.
My thought on that is, I think because Triple H has already said it, he doesn't want pay-per-views named after matches anymore.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna at least for sure there's not gonna be a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view anymore. They're just gonna have that match
Yeah.
when it means something.
Right.
It's kind of difficult to do that with the chamber because of the nature of it. You have to build a story that requires
It used to be No
Right.
Way Out. I
that
thought that
many
made
people.
that made sense with it being
Yeah.
No Way Out.
or like it's been at SummerSlam, it's been at Survivor Series. I mean, before it was its own pay-per-view, you had to have it was always either there's this many people in the main event and we need a way to showcase them,
Yeah.
or the champion was going up against management and management was like, screw you, you're defending against 5 people, Elimination Chamber match. Go.
And it's the same
Like, you know
thing
what I
for
mean?
the
It was
Money
like
in the
it was like
Bank,
a
too.
middle finger to the champion.
I never wanted, I love that Money in the Bank's its own thing at some points, but I also wish it was a part of Mania again.
I
Oh, it
want it
was
back.
so
Now
much
that
cooler.
Mania is 2 nights, you could do the women's on night 1 or
Right.
2 and then the men's on night 1 or 2, and it would be incredible. You get 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, 1 on each night.
I honestly
call it a
think
day.
that's where we're going. Now, we already know Money in the Bank's a pay-per-view this coming up year because they've already announced it and where it's going
Right.
to be. But
But I think next year,
yeah, I think
might
we're
not.
leading towards getting back to the way it was like 2005 through 2008.
yeah,
type
before the
time frame.
pay-per-view.
Right.
The first 5 Money in the Banks like helped make WrestleMania what it was and made it into like a fun weekend. They tried to do the same thing after making Money in the Bank a pay-per-view, like these Intercontinental title ladder matches that just did not get pops that they really deserved. I mean, there was the first one that they did where Daniel Bryan won it. It was cool, but then they tried to do it the next year, and then they took all these like they took Luke Harper out. They took like Daniel Bryan wasn't in it because of injury. Dolph Ziggler, I don't think, was in it. Like, and they just took a bunch of, and Dean Ambrose wasn't in it especially. And then they put like Sin Cara, they put Stardust, they put looking at Cody Rhodes now and looking at Cody Rhodes then, it's like completely crazy.
Yeah.
Just throwing that in there. And then like Zack Ryder, and Zack Ryder ends up winning it.
I was gonna say I still pop whenever Zack Ryder wins that.
I was
'cause
about
he
to say
deserved
you're
it.
going to beg to differ on that.
He deserved that pop so hard,
did.
and he did not deserve to lose it the next night to the Miz. He should have had a decent 2, 3, 4 month Intercontinental title run, because that was the cool part about the Intercontinental title ladder matches at Mania was that they were specifically for underutilized mid carders to give them the push to start their push. Like that's what that was used for. That's why you saw people like that. And only 1 or 2 people was going to come out of that match really looking better, but almost everyone got a spot in them.
Yep.
So,
But we're looking at that the same as Money in the Bank. But I feel like Money in the Bank it's more elevated because it's for a world title. So
yeah,
I feel like, hey, we got to see Edge like come into full form because of it. We got to
Yeah.
see RVD do some pretty cool stuff for a little bit until he got pushed back down the card, basically. We got to see Mr. Kennedy, the rise and fall of Mr. Kennedy, which
CM Punk.
was cool. CM Punk back to back, like,
yeah,
and then I forgot who won it. I think Jack Swagger won it next. That's not really that important, but
yeah,
like those 5 in a row were so big for WrestleMania. And like the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, that was the first match on the card, and I have that on DVD, so I knew that.
yeah.
That match was so good with like the pop that Punk got because everyone thought Christian would win. Punk or like Kane chokes
I
him
kind
off.
of wanted him to, honestly, but
Everyone wanted Christian to win that, but it's like so severe for WrestleMania, and it gets the pay-per-view kicked off the right way that people want. It's not like the Intercontinental title ladder matches didn't do that. It's just more severe with it being Money in the Bank and being at WrestleMania.
agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that was our little tangent about the Money in the Bank, but overall, I mean, Elimination Chamber, just to bring it back, I mean, great pay-per-view.
Right.
I think it was really good, and I think we have a lot of cool storylines coming out of it at WrestleMania. You guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
We're gonna be at Raw.
We are going to be at Raw, the last Raw before WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Because WrestleMania is April 1st and 2nd or whatever.
Yeah, and
I
we're-
believe so.
And we're at March 23rd.
Yeah. So we're going to be at the Raw's Go Home show. It's not the Go Home show, but I think that's a really pivotal Raw still,
Mm-hmm.
especially for like the Bianca Belair Asuka match or anything like that.
But yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for that.
My note: Sami Zayn will be a world champion this year once Cody gives him the shot.
You think this year?
I think it'll be this year.
I don't know. I
open.
see Cody. Obviously not 900 days or whatever, but I think Cody gets a lengthy title
We
run
got to
before
see
he
if the
drops
belt
it.
split.
Yeah, that's true. We got to see. If
Cody
he's gonna
wouldn't
give
let
him-
that happen. Cody wouldn't be like, I'm not just gonna hold these two things here for like a while. Cody's a
Yeah.
traditional champion. Like,
Well,
Unless
he'll
he
probably-
merges them into one, and then we get the new second belt again.
Well, I was gonna say the opposite. He splits off the Universal belt to give it to whoever needs that, and then he comes back with the Winged Eagle WWE, and we have two actually different belts.
Yeah.
need that.
All right, cool. Well, that finishes out the Elimination Chamber review. So, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us. We really appreciate it. Eddie, take us through the socials.
SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and you can also listen to us on Spotify, Audacity, and Apple Music.
Not
I thought it was
Audacity and not
Anchor.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, I was Anchor, not Audacity.
Anchor.
Thank you.
Whatever. Yeah,
We're going
I'd
to be
pay
on
attention.
SoundCloud on
I know
April
what's
1st.
happening. No, we're not. Go away.
Randy has a rap about Ronda Rousey that he's been dying to publish.
I'm gonna fade the
Maybe you
screen
guys
now.
will hear it one day. Yeah, maybe you guys will hear it one day. It won't be tonight though. But thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it. Leave it in the comments below what you guys are gonna think what's gonna happen next. See ya.